speak and hear the same language as you speak and hear. You're going to get this quality man template. Oh, I talk about it all the time on this show because it really helps you see who's right for you. We're going to deal with online dating and flirting and so much more. So if you would like to talk to me about this, I'd love to offer you a complimentary Find Love After 50 session with me. We can talk about what's going on in your life and why it's not working and what we can do to get that to work, to get you out there so you can find love after 50. Reach out to me at Lisa@findaqualityman. Let me know you heard it on this radio show and we'll set up a time to talk.
Hey everybody, this is your girl, Dr. MV, host of Singles Get Real. Catch the show every Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you missed the show, simply check out my podcast. Thanks for listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network.
All right, I have a letter from Dee, and she wants to know why this so-called relationship fizzled. Dear Lisa, recently, I chatted with a really nice man, and it seemed to be going great, but nothing ended up happening. Is it possible that I gave him signs that I was somehow not interested when I really was? He did ask me if I got lonely, and I said no. I didn't want him thinking I was needy and couldn't live my life without a man. Any advice why he seems so keen and why it fizzled? First of all, Dee, I know this can be so frustrating for you. One of the things that men need is to feel needed by women, like you have space in your life for him and that it would be really helpful to have a man around. So when you said, I'm not lonely, I'm fine, that's okay, but you want to end that sentence with something like this. He says, are you lonely? Are you feeling lonely? And you could say, I have some moments where I feel lonely. I have a pretty good life, but I feel it would be so much better if I had a man in it. It would make life so much more fun. I know you didn't want to come across as needy and like you couldn't live without a man. A man knows you can live without him. He just wants to know, can you live with him? So that's the way to encourage a man. You say it would be so much more fun to have a man in my life. You can do it in your profile. You can do it when you flirt, and you can do it when you talk on the phone, when they ask you questions about this. So chances are the reason it fizzled was he just thought your life was fine without anyone in it. It's always important to encourage men that you like having a guy in your life because men truly want to make you happy. It's like in their DNA coding, an emotionally healthy man over 50, even younger ones too, they want to make you happy. The hard part for us is learning to receive from men. We were taught that we didn't need men, and we don't want a man to think we're needy. But it's not that we're needy. It's just that you don't have to do it all yourself anymore. Men really want to help you. Wanda wants to know why men are disappearing. What's going on? Dear Lisa, I get letters from men who seem so interested in getting to know me. We're sharing emails back and forth, then suddenly they disappear and communication just ends. What's going on here? Men disappearing is one of the most painful things that happens to us. It's like they're so interested in us and then poof, they're gone. It's something I also work with women about in that 90 Days to Finding Love coaching group. There are 9 reasons men disappear. Let me give you one of them. It has to do with emails. One of the reasons men disappear is because they can end up misinterpreting emails. It's why it's important to only share 5 or 10 emails maximum and get a guy to the phone. In an earlier one, when I mentioned how to get a guy from the phone to the meet and greet, the way you get a man from the email phase to the phone is to say something like, I would love to put a voice to those wonderful emails that I've been hearing. What do you think? Always say, what do you think at the end of that. It throws the responsibility back on him. If he says yes, then and asks you for your number, or many men will give you their number. And there's a couple reasons why they give you their number. Men have been rejected a lot. So number one, they're thinking, all right, I don't need to be rejected. I'll put it out there. She can call me. He just doesn't want to get hurt again. Or number two, a lot of men think that you don't feel safe giving your number out. So what he does is he says, here's my number and give me a call because I want you to feel safe. What you can do is get a Google Voice number. It's free and it's non-traceable to you. And that way you'll be able to give him your number. And when you're ready to share more personal information, you can do that. So if a man says to you, what is this number? I Googled it and it comes up in Indiana or North Dakota. And you say, oh, yes, I have a Google Voice number. I feel it's the safest thing for me until I get to know someone. Is that okay? Will that be okay? Are you okay with that? Because ladies, men Google your phone number. I had someone Google my phone number when I was dating. It was my cell number. I thought that would be different. They couldn't find where I lived. And I get this email back and he says to me, you're a dating coach. And I said, how did you know that? He said, I Googled your phone number. So get a Google phone number. It's free and it's really worth having. The other reason men disappear, just to give you a second one, it's part of him not being into you, is that he might be communicating with other people at the same time. And if you're communicating with more than one person at a time, sometimes you get mixed up and you lose track of emails. If you're communicating with more than one person at a time, what I want you to start to do is have a little notebook so you can write things down about each person. And by the way, it is good to communicate with more than one particular man. It keeps you from getting invested in one particular man. I want you to think about this. You're going out there, you're going to have fun getting to know new and different men. That's a really good way to get out there and to do that. And you don't want to emotionally become invested until you two decide to be exclusive. And that's going to keep you from getting your heart broken and from having this expectation of someone is the one based on a profile and a picture. Okay. Mary Ellen has been getting form letters from men, and she wants to know why they're sending them. She says it's so obvious he knows nothing about me since the letter's all about him. It feels like he's trying to sell himself to the highest bidder, and it feels yucky. Have you gotten form letters from men before? Let me share something about those form letters with you. One of the reasons men send form letters is because they have written to so many women on a dating site and been rejected constantly. Dating is really a statistics game. The more people you come in contact with, the more men that you end up talking with and meeting, the better chance you have of finding love. You cannot stop after 8 different dates and say, I've done everything I can do. That's why I have this 90 Days to Finding Love coaching group. I teach these women that you need to go on 30 or 40 dates or more over a year to find love after 50. It really can take that long. It did for me. I've seen it take even longer for other people, but you have to keep going out there. So the form letter is just a way of like throwing the hook out there, and whoever writes back, he'll write back with them. He definitely was attracted to you, or he would not have written a form letter to you. If you like what he's saying about himself, it's like he's putting an advertisement out there about who he is. If you like that, write back to him. He might be a really interesting man who's been hurt. And if you don't like it, just move on. But men are just tired of being rejected, and so they'll do those form letters. They're really just telling you all about themselves. And if you like me, write me. Janelle wants to know about men who always want sex. What the heck to do about this? Dear Lisa, I've tried online dating and I feel like all most of these men really want is sex. They start texting me and what happens is it goes to what am I wearing? I don't even know the guy and he wants to know what I'm wearing. What is up with that? I had another guy start in with what a good kisser he is and what he said he could do to me. I just don't get it. What can I do about this? Janelle, what these men are doing is they're sexting with you. Chances are if you have single children, they're doing this as well. It's like the mating call of the 21st century. One of the things that happens though is that men don't realize that for women our age, this is a huge turnoff. And some men will even send texts of their stuff. And that is a huge, huge turnoff for us because we want to get to know a man. We don't want to be inundated with the sexual part first. The thing is men are very visual. And his first attraction to you is going to be based on sex and whether or not he wants to sleep with you. But that should last about 10 seconds and that should not continue to go on. He is just trying to get to know you, but you want to set a boundary and you want to say to him, I feel uncomfortable with this line of conversation right now. I feel it's really important to get to know someone and to see if we're even compatible before I start talking about intimate relationships with a man. I hope you understand. What do you think? Always throw the question back. If he doesn't honor this boundary and stop, block the guy. You don't need this. And men will push to see how far they can get with you, but some men really are on there just to have a sexual relationship. These are the types of men that do that. So block him. And if he starts pushing you, well, why don't you want to do this? Why don't you want to do that? Why won't you tell me what you're wearing? Again, say, I feel uncomfortable. And a guy may say to you, I remember a guy doing this with me. He said, what are you, some kind of prude? And he started on an attack with me. What you want to do is you just, at that point, you want to say, I'm sorry. Don't even respond to him. Just block the guy. Block him on your phone. Block him in your email. The cool thing about Google Voice is it comes through as an email, but you can text a guy back through Google Voice. He can text you and you can text him back. And this way, he doesn't know who you are or where you're from. Because creepy guys like this, you don't want them to have information about you. I'm going to finish this with one last letter with Karen and the sexting part. Dear Lisa, I just turned 50 this year and it was rough. So I was excited when a 40-year-old guy contacted me online. We emailed a little, then exchanged phone numbers. Next thing I know, he sends me a picture of his, I'm embarrassed to even say it, his private parts. I was appalled. Who does this? It was disgusting. I immediately cut off contact with him, but it's bothered me since the day it happened. Why did he do this? Yeah, it is disgusting. I remember meeting a younger guy who did this with me too, and he tried to get me to send him pictures of myself, and I'm thinking, no way, because these could end up on the internet, and plus I just think it's inappropriate to do. Again, this is a misunderstanding of what usually turns a woman on, especially women of our generation. They think you're getting juiced up by seeing his stuff, and the thing is we don't. It actually freaks us out. So men, if you're on this call and you're doing this, you're freaking most of these women out. You don't want to send your private parts for people to see. Let them see it when you decide to become exclusive in a relationship together. So we've talked a lot today about the different issues that are coming up in over 50s dating. And if you would like to share your challenge with me and would like an answer, there is a button on this page where you can write to me, or you can write to me also at lisa@findaqualityman.com. There is a contact page there, and there is a Dear Lisa in the drop down. And write to me. Let me know you came from this show. You have been listening to WGSN